Anyway, whether it's UConn, whether it's Michigan, whether it's doesn't matter what school, I'm always going to tell it like it is, and that's our job as journalists.
This Michigan team, kind of the opposite, right? They look like they could be champions for maybe 2/3 of the season. Had a little moment where you're like, all right, maybe split out.
They were great. They were blowing everybody else.
Exactly. So
they got my attention.
At the end of it, they kind of look like what we thought they were the first half of the season, if you will. So just your thoughts more. So we can talk about it all day, last 24 hours or so, 48 hours. Just the idea of, the mercenaries, the idea of NIL, what it does for the game. This is just where we are. You like it? You think UConn did a different approach? You guys got guys who stick around. Not that they're not paying them, but even guys who will stick around.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was funny. So Dusty May's right-hand man is a guy by the name of Atlantic, and I know him a little bit. I talked to him prior to the Arizona game on Thursday. Well, on Saturday. I talked to him on Thursday in the locker room. But I bring it up because Dusty May said something about, essentially that, you still have to, retention is important if you're retaining the right guys. And even in the portal, listen, you still have to not only bring in the right guys, but you still have to evaluate it. So let me give you an example, right? So, there's this notion of, they just bought this championship team. Kelvin, pull up Mara's stats at UCLA last year. You can share it with the audience. I believe it was something like 13 minutes per game. Minutes per game. Jr., I thought showed flashes last year at Illinois, but he was not this guy. Elliot Cadeau, you can find the locker room video of him being asked in the locker room after North Carolina was eliminated in the NCAA tournament last year. They said, do you expect to be back at North Carolina? And his exact quote was, I hope to be, okay? And so the portal works both ways. And Elliot Cadeau, the final foremost outstanding player, is actually a perfect example of a guy that, no one will ever say it publicly. He wasn't really welcome back at North Carolina. They wanted to go in another direction, and that is how he ended up at Michigan. So money matters. The portal, they're obviously the first team that has, I guess, all 5 starters that came from a different place. But it is still about evaluating and about finding the right guys and guys that all fit in pieces that are willing to complement each other. And so I'll push back on that narrative a little bit. It's not just you guys, it's a lot of people talking about it today.
6-4, what he was averaging, by the way, 6-4.
Yeah, oh my goodness. They're just buying their way to a championship by finding the most underutilized player in America. And oh, by the way, I'll say this really quick. I put out some tweet that I didn't think was going to get any traction about how UCLA totally misused him last year, and now UCLA fans are trying to, rewrite the narrative. No. Y'all had essentially the most versatile player in college basketball who's going to be a first-round pick, and you didn't know how to use him. Credit to Dusty May in Michigan.
He is Aaron Torres, Fox Sports Radio Weekend host.
Albert Joe.
Aaron Torres, along with the odd couple, Rob and Kelvin.
All right, Gino gone. The brouhaha after that women's game. Gino pretty well, right? What did you make of that? It seemed he came off as a sore loser, considering how much UConn women have
12 titles.
Yeah, 25 Final Fours, and they were 37-0 after that loss. And it wasn't like they got cheated out of a game. They got beat. They just got beat. What do you make of that whole thing?
So I'll be honest, I was just, doing men's Final Four stuff, and I never really looked into it because by the time I realized how big it was, Gino had already issued a statement. But this goes to what we opened the segment about. It can be my alma mater, and I feel very confident saying that Gino was in the wrong. And I think Gino knows he was in the wrong. Yep. And while we're on it, credit to Dawn Staley, who put out a statement today that basically paraphrasing said, listen, this guy has been great for our game. It wasn't his finest moment. I forgive him. Let's all move on. But no, Rob, listen, I again, goes back to what we were talking about. My alma mater, I get it. I'm not a blind supporter of anything or anyone, and I agree with you 100%. I thought he was in the wrong on Friday night.
And the only thing I didn't like, and I don't know who's in charge of the SID or whatever, we brought it up, was in his apology. He just never mentioned her, and I just thought Dawn Staley's name has to be in that apology, not the staff, and I respect the staff and all that. That's the only thing. But I'm glad that Dawn put it behind him, and everybody can put it behind him. But it wasn't a great moment, no doubt.
No, I give her credit, too, for everything that she put out earlier in the day.
Do you think, last one for me here, Dan Hurley, college guy, remember the Lakers looked at him a couple years back. What do you make of his kind of trajectory? Is he just one of the long-term college guys? Do you think eventually he goes and, sniffs the NBA?
Yeah, I'll be quick, and if I'm going long, guys, cut me off. I thought it was interesting. So Jeff Goodman, it was kind of before North Carolina had hired Mike Malone, and Jeff Goodman had some time with Hurley, and, he was kind of like, hey, Dan, why aren't you being talked about in North Carolina? And Dan kind of rolled his eyes and said, maybe the NBA one day, but I'm not going to another college. And I thought it was interesting because it was the first time he really said that following the Lakers thing. I will say, this is just my personal opinion. Obviously, I know people who know him well. I don't know that he's a 30 years and a gold watch kind of guy. Like, I think, listen, we all know the fire that's in that guy's belly, the need to compete. And I just, listen, I am an alum. I do hope he stays forever. He just reminds me, I'll give you a quick side story. There's this great hypothetical in college basketball of what if Rick Pitino had never left Kentucky? Does he break all Coach K's records? And I say, Rick Pitino's not wired to be in a place for 30 years. And I don't think that Dan Hurley is that either. I think at some point he is going to want to test himself at the highest level with the best players. And if he does, again, I'm not trying to keep bringing up my alma mater, but he is the best coach in college basketball right now. He has given everything that he has to that university. And if that's an itch that he wants to scratch, he has every right to. So to answer your question, Kelvin, I don't know that it's this off season because I don't know that those premier jobs open. But I think at some point, whether it's the Knicks, the Celtics, maybe the Lakers another time around, I think he'll consider it if it's the right spot.
And the only way Rick Pitino's going to stay out of place for 30 years, a pardon would have to be involved.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he stays somewhere for 30 years at this point, that's certainly going to be a story to be told.
Yeah, with me, you ain't lying. At this point, we're going to say, what is it? What miracle pill are you taking?
Exactly.
Hey,
What miracle pill he's taking, but
dang it, you said it was blue. All right, thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you, man, buddy. Glad you had a good time out there at the Final Four. He was live out at the Final Four. All right, Rob, you know what time it is. Last call, 877-99 on Fox. 877-99 on Fox. Last call, but a great Tuesday. You got a chance to shut us down as we get ready to end this show. Hit us up, Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Hurry up, I want that Starbucks.
last call on the Odd Couple. If you had a take and couldn't get in all show, here's your chance. Go support to us. Call us at 877-99 on Fox. Hurry up. Rob and Kelvin got to get out of here. The Odd Couple is live on YouTube right now. So watch us. Just search The Odd Couple.
Watch us live on YouTube right now.
You hear me? Talk to us. How about it?
YouTube.com/@oddcouplefsr. Hit subscribe. Hit that thumbs up icon and the comments are live. So trash talk away.
Hey, what's up? It's Kelvin Washington from The Odd Couple. Every sports season is built on preparation, studying the trends, making necessary adjustments to reach the ultimate goal. Investing deserves the same approach. With Webull, you have access to real-time market data, advanced tools, and intuitive app designed to help you make informed decisions. Trade stocks, options, ETFs, and more, or set up an IRA for the long term, all in one platform. Get your financial portfolio game ready by downloading the Webull app today or visiting Webull.com.
Webull Financial LLC, member SIPC FINRA. Investing involves risk. For more information, visit Webull.com/disclosure.
Man, it is Jay Uso here from the WWE. When it's just me between matches, it's day one-ish. And that means it's summer time. With hundreds of casino-style games and new titles arriving weekly, there's always something fresh to try at Chumba Casino. The daily boosts make it even more fun. And have me about to get them? Way to chill out and enjoy 3 minutes for yourself. Let's jump.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
Hey guys, it's Big. You know what time it is? Draft season, baby. I'm so excited that I set up an office hotline just to talk to you about the Chiefs draft on Monday, April 20th. Tuesday, April 21st, I'm going to be sitting at my desk between noon and 2 p.m. just waiting for your call. 913-730-5131. That's 913-730-5131. Call the Toxin Draft. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 Fan.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a late Sunday afternoon, you wish it never ends. At home I taste the bluebells, and good friends gather round. Good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Rookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookies blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days.